and declare a quorum. Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one nation. I'm gonna memorize that one before.
Isn't that the correct way? But isn't that the correct way for the Texas flag?
No, I'm gonna memorize.
Isn't that the correct way for the Texas flag? See, how many school we use? Yeah, it's school.
So, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. Again, thank you for coming out. Just another reminder, since some people walked in, if you have a cell phone with you, go ahead and please mute it. If you need to take a call or a text, feel free to step out to the hallway, come back anytime you want. You're not going to disrupt anything that's going on. I'm going to just read a little bit here on item C, announcement on disclosure of conflict of interest. Any conflicts of interest or appearance of conflict of interest with items on this agenda shall be declared at this time. Members with conflicts will refrain from voting and are asked to refrain from discussion on such items. Conflicts discovered later in the meeting shall be disclosed at that time. I don't think we have anybody here with any conflicts. We will move forward to item D, citizens' comments. Mr. Sanchez. Yes. There you are. Come on up here. Is the mic on? I can't see that far.
Chucky said he wanted more speed bumps.
Uh-oh. We have inverted speed bumps all over town.
I know. But that's not the issue. It's been a week now. There's been a dog at my dad's house. Stray dog. It's a pit bull mix. I'm not really sure. Last week, my brother Oscar and my dad tried to load the dog into a vehicle. The dog got aggressive, tried to bite them. I have been in contact with Sal. I have contacted you a couple of times. I've been to animal control. I went to the county meeting yesterday morning, and I spoke with the judge this morning, Judge Krebs. My dad is a prisoner in his house. He cannot go outside. He's had cancer twice in the last 12 years. He's fighting it again. His immune system is compromised because of the cancer. One of the first things they told us when the first time he left the hospital in 2012 was he cannot afford to get infection, cuts, scratches, bruises from anything. This dog could knock him down. He's been aggressive. He jumped on I called the police Sunday. The dog jumped on the policeman. He growled at me. My dad cannot go outside. The dog keeps him up at night. He's laying under his house at night. I've called my dad's homeowner's insurance. He's not going to be held responsible. I told him everything that I'm telling y'all. I know Sal's been trying to help. I know. I've asked the animal control. The contract says bites or aggression. The animal control guy, Arroyo, said, oh, no, the intent was bites only. Well, no. The contract says bites or aggression. They'll pick him up. Sal says he can't make him do it. Well, we have a contract. So why don't we make them come pick up this dog? While my dad's a prisoner. All he has in this world right now at 81 years old is to go outside and do his yard. He cannot go outside unless I go over there or my sister goes. How much longer are we going to let this go on? Are we going to do something? That dog's eventually going to bite somebody. He went after people walking by the other day. I saw it. Again, I've already called my dad, homeowner's insurance, and I'm letting them know what's happening. It's going to be the county. It's going to be the city that's going to be responsible when this dog attacks somebody. Or hopefully not my dad. Hopefully not me. Hopefully not the neighbor there, Raymond. He's seen it. He looks after my dad. I want to know what we're going to do. Are we going to honor this contract? Are we going to force animal control to come do something? I'm in contact with PETA. Animal control told me to shoot the dog with a BB gun or a pellet gun. I called sheriff's department and said, no, you don't want to do that. I said, I know. I don't want to get arrested. That's abuse. I want to know what we're going to do. We're going on a week that my dad is stuck in his house.
So unfortunately, Mr. Sanchez, because this is kind of the, it's not just really to be heard. We really can't respond.
I know.
But what I would
I'm
like, if you
breathing.
can
I mean,
wait-
I'm letting it out.
If you can wait around for after the meeting, I'll let you know what Sal and I have talked about and what we've done, who we've reached out to try to hopefully resolve this. So if you could wait, if not, I'll call you after the meeting and we can talk over the phone.
I'm waiting on Judge Krebs
Krebs.
as well. He said it could take a few days. Investigation, whatever, man. The dog is there.
Right.
What are we waiting for him to bite someone? And then what? And then what?
Yeah.
Who's going to get sued? Who's going to be hurt by this dog? Then we're going to care?
Right.
I want people to care now.
Right.
Raymond's worried about my dad.
No, I understand, and we've talked several times over the weekend, and so, like I said, unfortunately, we can't really get into.
Well,
back
that's
and
the
forth.
answer. I'm sick and tired of the, well, we can't do nothing.
No.
Sorry, guys, can't do nothing.
No, we are.
That's all I've heard.
No, we are going to be doing
David?
something. We are going to be doing something. What I'm saying is, in this forum right now, we can't have a discussion back and forth.
Understood.
But if you'd like to wait,
Yeah.
or I can call you after the city council meeting.
I
can let you know.
even offered to pay to have this dog picked up and euthanized. I would take care of it if it's a money issue. My dad needs his life back. I don't think y'all understand. He's stuck in his house.
No. I think that we understand, and like I said, Sal and I spoke about that today, and I sent some emails out. But again, I can't get into detail with it, just to follow the rules.
Okay.
But if you'd like to wait, if not, I'll call you after
Okay.
the meeting.
I'll be here.
You know, and I can tell you what we're working on, and hopefully we can resolve this week.
Well, it needs to be resolved. Yeah. I thought I had someone today going door to door selling stuff. He wanted to take it, but he couldn't. His wife, sister, whatever, couldn't take it. But
So yeah, if you stick around, we can talk a little bit about what we're doing.
are we
and
clear though
hopefully-
that my dad's not going to be held responsible
We're gonna-
when this dog attacks somebody?
Of course, we understand.
And the city and the county, I will hold responsible, and whoever this dog does attack. I hope they know, and I will be putting it on Facebook tonight that there is a dog on 306 Front Street that we say we're trying to do something, and I believe, because I've seen Sal and Becky working, and I've been here quite a few times, but my dad needs help and relief, and that's all I ask.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And we'll talk after the meeting. Thank you. Anybody else, Sal? Okay. So we're going to move on to, hold on. Is Pam here? Oh, I'm sorry. I got my other glasses on. So these are my close-up glasses. So we're going to go ahead, and we have a few folks here who are at the back of the agenda. So I'd like to move them up if anybody doesn't have any, issues with that, to move them up so they don't have to be here through all the other conversation. Okay. So we're going to move up to a presentation from Ms. Pam Brewer. She's from the San Patricio County Voting. She's the San Patricio County Voting Coordinator, and she's going to speak regarding the 2024 November general election. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Sal, for getting me on the agenda. Appreciate it. My name is Pam Brewer, and I am one of the voting coordinators for San Patricio Elections Office. I've been there a while. Most of y'all know me by now. But we are making a concentrated effort this election to increase voter awareness and promote early voting. No one wants to stand in line on November 5th. And I guarantee you that's what you will be doing if you wait to vote in Odem until November 5th. We will not be voting early in Odem, which is mainly why I'm here to explain why. This happened during the primary as well, and we had quite a few voters that spoke out about it when they traveled over to Sinton to vote. And so I wanted a chance to reach out to you all to let you all be informed and be able to share this with your constituents about why we are not voting early in Odem as previously done. It's all hinging on last year's legislation that was passed. And they have restricted us from making the schedule as we see fit for the 2 weeks of early voting. So now if a branch location is open, they have to be open the exact same hours, and those hours consist of 2 full weeks only closed on Sunday, and 2 of those days have to be 12-hour days. And so just financially paying our workers, and then as well as logistically with the amount of equipment we have, we did not have enough to supply Odem, to supply Ingleside, to supply Taft as previously done because the scheduling was taken out of our hands. And so we do have Sinton Election Office, Mathis Annex Building, the Aransas Pass Community Center, as well as Portland Community Center that will be our 4 early voting sites open for 2 full weeks. Along with the Saturday, Sinton even has to be open on Sunday now. Quite a few hours and more than enough early voting hours for us to go and vote. Our Odem crew, Esperanza, Amy Perales, Melanie Fox, Aurora, they will all be working the Sinton office on 10/23. And then they are going to be working in Mathis over the weekend from 10/26 through 10/29. So if you would like to vote where you still know the people, then we recommend that you travel either to Sinton or to Mathis for that to happen. As usual, we ask voters to bring their photo ID with them. No political propaganda will be tolerated within the 100-foot boundary. We encourage patriotic clothing, but nothing political. And then one more favor to ask, please don't believe everything you read on Facebook. So much information is being shared, so much misinformation is being shared, actually more than the information we are trying to get out. And so please follow our San Patricio County Elections Office page and get our information from our website. I have got a few flyers with me tonight in print. That is our early voting schedule, and on the back is our 13 locations. We're open on November 5th. But as always, we urge voters to go out during early voting and just get it done. Mark it off your to-do list, and then you won't have to stand in line on November 5th. Is there any questions I can answer? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you explain to the voters, it's not just like take a meeting, you vote, like, Republican,
Yes.
and Democrat.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a lot of the old people don't know.
Sure. This is a general election, which means there's only one ballot. Okay. There is not a party to choose alignment with as there is during the primary, which was earlier this year. And so we have Republican, Democratic, Green, Libertarian. There's many choices. All the ballots for Odem look the same. And so it is your private choice, however you vote across party lines or unilaterally, that
Welcome to Odem.
yes, that straight party option that we were so accustomed to being on this ballot in November was done away with several election cycles ago. They're trying to encourage voters to look at the merits of each individual candidate instead of relying on party lines. And so that is no longer there. Thank you, Jesse.
And when does early voting start?
October 21st. October 21st. We're a couple of weeks away. I start training October 14th and 15th. All the election workers will be at the fairgrounds in Sinton on the 14th. I have 2 classes that day, one from 9 to 12, the other from 1 to 4, and that is open to the public. Anyone who would like to attend is welcome to, and we encourage it. It's always good to know what is being taught and what you should expect when you go to vote.
So if people from Odem want to vote early, they can go to either Sidon or the Matrix.
Yes, or Aransas Pass or Portland. You know,
Anywhere
go
in the
eat, go eat lunch. Exactly. Yeah, take a trip.
Go visit
Take
the
a
big
road
new
trip.
Target over there.
That's right.
So how do we get this out to the elderly?
I mean, I put stuff on Facebook, and I don't want to say like that's elderly because my mother is 70. I don't want to say, but she can get on Facebook. But we can actually probably share something. We just missed the billing for anything like that. But I mean, I'm open for ideas. I mean, usually we use the website and Facebook to get our information out. Yeah.
Well, let's just maybe over the next few days, this
Mhm.
week, we can kind of just come up with some ideas on how we can get some flyers out, maybe
Mhm.
Right.
to the neighborhood, you know,
Right.
to
And-
the
and we
different
can-
houses. I mean,
And when we post, we can encourage Facebook users to, if they have anyone in mind that maybe doesn't have internet access or Facebook access, that they could, get a flyer. We can take out to them or something like that.
Do you
Yeah.
have a flyer with you?
Mhm. Yes, sir. I've got a couple. We ran out of ink at the
You can
office,
just-
but I got what I could.
Yeah.
you could
And
just
Pam,
give
if you
one to
could,
Sal.
I might want to put it at the local businesses, if you hang them up, I mean, everybody goes to Dollar One, everybody goes to the gas station.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. You just give mine to Sal.
I'm good. You're welcome.
That's a
you-
good
did you
idea.
email me a copy?
Use some of the local
Okay.
businesses.
It's on our, this is on our
It's on the website?
Facebook
Okay.
as well as our website.
Okay.
And maybe we can get Sal, maybe we can reach out to the postmaster here
Mhm.
and see if there's some way that, I mean, we can do like a bulk thing and just
Yeah.
mail these out, you know. So just maybe tomorrow, get in touch with the postmaster and see what it would cost to get this information out.
I appreciate y'all's help with this. Obviously, being a resident of Odem now for nearly 30 years, if you can believe it, it matters to me. It matters the people that drive to Sinton or that show up on November 5th and they're waiting in line because we weren't open early, which is typically when they vote. And so I asked them if I could be making city council meetings to share this information. So I appreciate all the support. And then as well as our goal is not for the elderly to have to travel. I just feel like if the rest of us that can travel would and open up Odem for November 5th so the elderly can have easy access in and quickly attended to and leave, right? We're not asking them to drive, just the ones that are capable so that Odem can be freed up to process those that need to vote curbside, especially, which is anyone that's physically at risk by going inside to vote. So, okay.
Sal, you can also reach out to Real Transit and see if this is something that maybe they can transport some folks that may not be able to drive and want to early vote. Maybe we can stage here in the parking lot by the city hall, and people who don't want to drive, they can just take the Real bus
Yeah.
to the poll.
And that is doable. I've reached out to them previously in other elections when it was so busy. And while we couldn't coordinate the efforts countywide, they said that smaller networks within the county, they would be willing to work with. So
we have a representative that we talked to. So
Good.
I think we can
that'd be
maybe
great.
do a staging here
Sure.
at the parking next to City Hall, and people who want to go vote who may not have transportation
That'd be great.
or like you said, the elderly that
Mhm.
want to vote early, we can maybe work something out.
That'd
with
be
Real.
great. And if you all arrange that and you called to our office ahead of time, then we can be staffed and ready. And those that don't want to get off of the transportation, we could go out there and let them stay on. So they're only loading and unloading one time instead of also having to go in at Sinton.
Fantastic. Great.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Thank
Pam.
y'all for your
Appreciate it.
time.
On the same non-action items, item B, receive a presentation from Adam. Adam's not here. Michael's here. Okay. From the San Patricio Economic Development Corporation. Michael?
Mayor, City Council, thank you for letting me come and give you a presentation of San Patricio County Economic Development Corporation, what we do.
on behalf of San Patricio County and also the 9 communities in San Patricio County.
Sorry.
That button on the,
I got it.
thank you very
Yep,
much.
sorry.
Next slide, please. So San Patricio County Economic Development is a public-private partnership. What that means is that the county officials and the 9 different cities in San Patricio County have come together and said, how do we make the economy better in San Patricio County? And that's the public sector. The private sector is Exxon, Cheniere, Hewitt, those companies that are part of our community, part of San Patricio County, they are involved as investors in this collaboration. This collaboration, though, the sole mission of this group is to help all ships rise, to make sure that the economy is better, make sure that there's plenty of jobs in this area, and make this better, economically better. Next slide, please. So when we look at talking to a prospective a candidate, a prospective business, let me start by saying that there are 4, usually 3, but 4 different avenues in which we have a prospect come to us. The first way in which a prospect comes to us is through the governor's office. And so the governor's office will talk to a prospective business. The business is looking at locations not only in Texas, but they're looking at locations all over the United States. And they're saying, here's the criteria that we're looking for. We have, I don't know, $500 million. We need this much water, we need this much power, we need this much land. And what we do is we go and see what sites we have available that will match that criteria. And then we respond to that RFI, request for information, to the governor's office. And we sometimes get site visits from those RFIs. The second category that we have is prospects that come to us through our marketing trips. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But so the financial monies that we get from the public sector and the private sector, we use those monies to go out and market San Patricio County at the different conferences that exist. We have a manufacturing conference over here, or we have another type of manufacturing conference somewhere else. We travel to those and we collaborate not only with we do things for ourselves, but we collaborate with a group called Team Texas, which is part of the Texas Economic Development group. And what we do as a marketing arm of Texas is we collect all those leads at a conference, put them together, and then we share those leads. And do that. The third category are site selection consultants. A business, when they're looking at the prospect of expansion or relocation, they'll go hire a consultant to evaluate sites that's the best fit for them. And so what we do is we work with those consultants. We go to meetings, we go to conferences with those consultants and talk to San Patricio County. But that gives you an idea as to how we receive those leads. And of course, the fourth category is we do our own marketing. We cold call, we may have a perfect site for something, and we cold call a few candidates that meet that criteria. When we're talking, not yet. So when we're talking to a candidate, I may go a little long, but I want to make sure everybody understands our process. When we're talking to a candidate, we talk about the MSA. MSA means Metropolitan Statistical Area. What that means in the government arms of statistics, Bureau of Economic Analysis, Census Bureau, things like that, is that you have the population of San Patricio County, Oasis County, and Aransas County. All right, so when we're talking to a prospect, we want to make sure that they understand that they have the labor base necessary to be successful in this area. And so it's important that we talk about the population of 445,000 within an hour's drive of at least Portland. You're looking at around 460,000 people. San Patricio County, the census is around 70,000. Okay, so obviously a lot of these jobs that we have here in San Pat, we have a lot of people coming in from different counties to fulfill those jobs. Unemployment rate now in San Pat County is 5.4%, a little bit high to the Texas average. And the median wage is 37.9. So in the past 10 years, the MSA, the Oasis, San Pat, and Aransas County have attracted over $62 billion of investment. Everything from the battery factory in Robstown all the way to ExxonMobil and Steel Dynamics. Okay, in San Pat County, 37 billion has been attracted of that 62 billion. That tells you that a lot of companies find this area very attractive for a big business. And especially with the Port of Corpus Christi, you can imagine that we do a lot of exports, we do a lot of imports of oil and gas. And so you can see that there's and chemicals for that matter. But I just wanted to highlight to you the type of investment that you're attracting to San Patricio County. Next slide. So for example, Steel Dynamics finished construction a couple years ago. They have about 600 jobs. The average wage of those jobs is $70,000 a year. Okay. And so that, let's talk about the ripple effect of that. You have a job that's $70,000 a year. If you had that job and you were driving from the island to Steel Dynamics, would you do it every day? Probably. Okay. But then you think about buying a house in Odem or Taft or something like that. So you're seeing a lot of housing development take place in this area here, in Portland and Aransas Pass and such. But at least you get an idea as to what the investment of $2.1 billion has in this area. Next slide, please. The next one that finished construction a couple years ago was Gulf Coast Growth Ventures, which is the Exxon David collaboration. 700 jobs, $90,000, the average wage is $90,000 a year. These people buy your pizza. These people buy your hamburgers. These people play pool and drink beer at night. Okay? And so what I'm trying to say is the ripple effect helps all of us. Why do we attract these jobs? And if you don't mind, I'm going to. If I make a widget, chemical, petroleum, or just widgets, and I take the widget to Georgia, and I sell it in Georgia, and the transaction takes place in Georgia, okay, and the money comes back to San Pat County, that's additional county. So that's where we focus in this area. If I make a hamburger, and Uncle Joe down the road goes up and buys a hamburger, did that money come from the outside or did it stay in the inside? That's a secondary. So we focus on primary jobs. We do a little bit of retail, but we focus on primary jobs. And that's what these types of jobs create for us. Next slide, please. So our target market industries are manufacturing, petrochemical operations, aerospace and aviation, agriculture, green energy, and retail. Our project activity for this year, 2024, we have 82 projects that have come to us. And we're in 61, and we have currently 10 cyclists. So these are our followers. We're trying to make sure that we entertain these prospects. Our most active projects, Project Park Top, green and blue ammonia facility, 700 acres, 300 jobs, 4 billion in capital investment, 4 million gallons of water a day. They signed an option agreement on 7 acres north of Gregory, just south of Trade with their trade business. Project Cotton Pass, liquid petroleum fuels manufacturing agreement signed with Pipeline, which is Pin Oak, which is south of Taft, between here and Taft. And then you have 120 jobs, 700 million in capital investment. They're hoping to close on their option on October the 31st, 2024. Create about 120 jobs. Next one. Project Renewable Arc, European group who's looking at 60 acres along the coast to build an e-fuels facility, 80 acres, 65 new jobs, 1.1 billion in capital investment. And project is signed an option on the 80 acres north of Gregory and at the Somerset Industrial Park. And then Project Nemo V2, that came through a site selection firm looking for chemical manufacturing company, 100 acres, 70 new jobs, 200 million in capital investment, and about 350,000 gallons of water a day and 15 megawatts of power. But at least it gives you an idea of the type of projects we're trying to bring to this area. Next slide, please. The retail projects, I would say we spend about 10% of our time doing some retail trips and talking to retail about coming here. We've been very active in bringing Chipotle here. Olive Garden is coming to Portland. We helped Starbucks go into Aransas Pass, and then we helped Family Dollar Tree go into Taft, I believe is what it was. Next slide, please. So housing, the current median home price is $238, or about $240,000 in the county, which is down 7.2% from this time last year. Active listings are up about almost 50%. Homes are typically spending 93 days on the market and are taking an average of 29 days to close for a total of 122 days, 27 more days than this time last year. Closed sales are up 7.8%, and the price distribution for homes across the county is showing 32.5% of those sales are houses between 100 to 199,000, and then the second house bracket, 27.3% are between 200 and 9,000. Next slide, please. So it gives you some idea of what we're doing in this community, what we're doing for the county. We have very good, close relationship with the Port of Corpus Christi. We have a close relationship with the different communities in San Patricio County. We have a good relationship with the city of Corpus Christi. As you may imagine, their ETJ reaches really up in that area. And then we have a really good relationship with the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development. But thank you very much. If any time we can be of service, please look at our website. It shows you the different sites that we market to our prospects. And if you have any other questions, always feel free to reach out and give me a call. Go ahead.
Michael, can you tell the audience about everybody worried about the port, the strikers?
Wes sat next to me today at the meeting, and Wes had said that the Port of Corpus Christi should not be affected probably at all, or I'm going to say not too much. The Port of Corpus Christi is not a container port. And since they're not a container port, we don't feel like there's going to be a lot of union activity involved with that. But keep in mind that the effect of that strike is around $5 billion a day. And it does impact the logistics, even of, getting pizza crust or hamburger buns or something like that. So we're going to see a ripple effect of that. We're hoping that it doesn't last long, but that's what I'm hearing right now, that it shouldn't be a big factor with the Port of Corpus Christi. That's it. Thank you.
We got
Instead of an annual meeting, we do have a golf tournament coming up November 14th. I didn't have that flyer with me. November the 14th, and we're looking to not only entertain folks, but really talk to our investors and other people who want to come and play golf. So if you have a golf team that you are a big part of, we'd love to have your foursome sign up, and it's going to be a scramble tournament for half a day, and then at the end we have an investor reception, I believe, from 4:30 to 7 or something like that.
Can we use a baseball bat to drive?
Yeah. Well, now they're using tennis rackets.
So
Have you seen that?
So why are all the companies going like up north? Why? Great.
North like
Well, we're
in
getting a lot
Minnesota.
of it in Portland, and we're getting a lot of it. A little bit closer to that.
Let me
But
answer.
what are we not doing? We should.
It's not a matter of you not doing it, okay? It's a matter of, sometimes it's a matter of sensitivity. And what I mean by that is this. You have a huge expansion going on in this county, and that is Chenier. I believe it's 22 billion in expansion. And so the product they develop starts here, they bring the feedstock, bring it in, they do value added to the project, and then they make the product, right? That's called a train. And if you remember, I think they're moving 6 to 8 trains additional to what they're doing right now. And so what AEP, your power company, has done is take a 345 electrical line. You've seen that big tower with the 2 arms sticking out? And if you notice on that one side, they got lines on it, and the other side, they don't have lines. That is a 345 cable coming from Steel Dynamics all the way to Tradewinds, or at least south of Tradewinds, just a little bit. And so to answer your question, when they're bringing it down, they're going to put that transformer on the other side of 35 over there. It has created this excitement among owners because it has a huge power line and a transformer, and they're going to run 2 138s down to Chenier from that. But it's causing a lot of interest in power because any big manufacturer, you're interested in power and water, and that's a different issue. And I didn't come here to talk water today, but we have lost projects on water, and at the end of the day, and this is Michael Parra speaking, I can't say on behalf of SBDC, but eventually the bigger group of Sanpete counties got to come together and have a big discussion on planning for abundance of water in this area. And so I'm sure the leadership already know that, and hopefully will, but to answer your question, it's the power that's available in that area right now. You know, how do you get a power line? Well, I'm not sure, but I know that you're gonna have some other benefits coming your way. And if I remember, you got 69 coming in from Houston. It's gonna be coming through this way. I do know that in North Texas, where I'm from, we had a 4-lane that was being converted from Wichita Falls to Sherman Denison area. Okay, and they were changing some 2 lanes. A little town called Nocona just couldn't believe that they were going to put that 4-lane in the middle of town, which they had 4 lanes. They were going to move it to the side. So you need to participate in those discussions as to how that 4-lane is going to be adjacent to you or coming through you or whatever. I know you probably already thought about this, but I just want to encourage you to really think about that, because it could be to your benefit economically. So they may have a power line, but you may have something that's unique for you. Does that make sense? Did I answer?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Michael, since you brought up I-69.
I'm going to let you talk to them.
Okay, well, no, it's a legitimate question.
This is SBDC's
That's right.
point, and so I'm good. But if you want to talk about 69, you work with the
We
mayor.
want to talk about sales taxes.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
So if some of y'all remember, earlier this year, myself and the city administrator Sal and our mayor pro tem Yolanda Alvaro, we actually took a trip up to Austin and with the governor's economic development and tourism folks over there, and as well as with the Texas Economic Development Board. And it was a great meeting. Both of these entities had allowed us to come in, that we were going to meet for about an hour. And I think we ended up meeting for over 2 hours in both cases, because they had a lot of questions. And like he mentioned there, you know, the 2 things a lot of these businesses are looking for is power and water. And yeah, so we had a good conversation with them. And we're hoping that at some point, you know, we'll be able to work with the state and also with our local economic development and start attracting some of these businesses over to our area. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones that are building right now want to be closer to the water, and even though we're not that far, you know, they want to be out and close to the bay. So you know, hopefully we'll attract some of these businesses coming pretty soon. So the next one is discuss and consider a request from Levi and Ashley Hunsaker to get a city water line to their home located at 14027 FM 631.
Okay, everyone's fine.
If you don't know where this is, it's just past the Veterans Park, going towards the Taft on the back road. Just, I think it's about, what, 2-3 miles from Veterans Park? About a mile.
Yeah,
So about a
it's not
mile.
very far.
It's the only house on the right hand side.
Right by the big old fan blades.
Yes. Okay, so we had bought the house last year, and when we had bought it, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We all have kids and grandkids, so that's okay. He's fine.
So we had bought, I need you to stop. We had bought it last year, and when we went to go buy it, we had seen that the faucets and stuff were corroded all throughout the house. And we had asked them about it, and they had told us that the reason the stuff was corroding was because they had did the well in the house, and they didn't have a water softener on the well system at first. Are you sure? Okay.
Yes.
And so we said, okay. So then we get in the house, and we have put out thousands of dollars trying to keep up with this well system, because we've had to replace the booster pump that they have attached to the water softener system 3 or 4 times now because it keeps going out because it couldn't keep up with our family size water pressure, and it is ruining everything in the house. I'm having to throw everything away because everything's rusting and corroding, and we shouldn't have to go through this with, as you can see, a big family like us. Plus, we have animals, and if we wouldn't have been lied to when we bought the house, honestly, we probably wouldn't have bought it because, again, we shouldn't have to go through this. We shouldn't have to live with this kind of water. And so our question is, we want to get on city water, and I know you guys don't have the funds, I don't think, to provide for the water. But my dad owns a construction company, and he's willing to provide the material and do the labor if you guys can do the permits and the engineering for the job to give us a 2-inch water line to connect to you guys.
So I've been talking to your dad over the last year, off and
Yes.
on, and kind of explained to him the situation that we were in. And he did offer that, unfortunately, because the road, TxDOT basically owns the road, and then some of, the area around the ditch and stuff. So TxDOT would have to also be involved if we're going to dig up a trench and approve it.
Okay.
And so we have to go through them. But I do want to say, and this is kind of, I'm sharing this with our council members for the first time right now because I just got confirmation. We will be having a meeting in November with the Texas Water Development Board.
Okay.
We've actually been kind of going back and forth over last year because there were some issues with our finances and audits and stuff. But we've done I think we've done a pretty good job as a council to try to turn things around financially, and we've gotten one of our audits done. We're working on the others.
Okay.
And he wanted to come and meet with us to see if there was anything that they could potentially do to help us going forward, because they've seen the work that we've done over the last year. So I'm hoping that when we sit down with the Water Development Board, that we'll be in a better position to maybe see if they're willing to help us, because we would love to run water out there because it's a great opportunity for more growth. I think Councilman Huerta is actually, when he was mayor, there was talk about building homes out in that area, but of course there was no city water. So I think it's been something that previous councils have actually considered. So hopefully that after, maybe at the beginning of next year, we'll be in a situation that maybe we can start working on getting some water out to that area as well, which I know the person who built your home actually reached out to us, and he'd like to build a couple more homes out there to sell. But obviously he wants to wait until, there's city water out there.
He's seen what it does to the houses.
So I'm hoping that, this meeting in November goes well for us, and that we're in a better position when we come after the holidays, maybe start working with TxDOT, our engineers as well, and see what we can do to get water out to that area.
Okay, so if they were to approve it, what would be the time frame?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really know. But what we would do.
Done water lines before,
Yeah.
so.
If go ahead.
But if her dad is willing to do the construction, which is that's more of the cost than material.
Yeah.
Have we reached out to like Ferguson to see if how much we can get the material for?
I mean, my dad
The
did.
lines and everything?
We're talking with our wastewater superintendent, contracted superintendent. The last time we talked about it, he estimated about $60,000 in material, just material. That wasn't including engineering costs and permits, all that kind of stuff, TCQ things.
For 2-inch line? That's kind of expensive.
Well, it's a little over 0.73 miles away from the nearest tap.
We want to probably go bigger, really. We want to do it 6-inch or
Yeah,
5.
they just want to run a 2-inch.
Right.
Yeah.
See, but if we want to expand out that way, it's gonna have to be a 6 or
6-inch, yeah.
Well, there's also. I'm sorry.
But for them, it's for dad's way to do it, just to get them water out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you guys are willing to accept the 2-inch to get us water to help us out, because we're desperate, we really need it. My dad's willing to provide the material as well, not as long or on top of doing the labor. If you guys,
The pipes.
yeah, he's willing to provide all the material for the 2-inch.
See, TxDOT doesn't charge for permits. TxDOT's just gonna give you the right of way.
Right.
They're just gonna say, yeah, go ahead, they're gonna mark and everything. TCEQ's not gonna get involved with it pretty much.
And they're not,
As long as you do it correctly.
they're not CCN also.
As
Yeah.
long as you do it correctly, that's it.
Well, so, I mean, this is a conversation, I guess, that we can have, and like I said, we're gonna look to see how our meeting with the Water Development Board goes in November.
Okay,
And because, I mean, if we're gonna run the water out there, we really wanna run it to where we can expand on it, not just run one line for one home. We wanna be able to run it, and that's gonna include, I think we'll have to put up another fire hydrant out in that area as well, as part of the project, so. But these are all things conversations that we need to have with our engineers and with TxDOT and stuff. So hopefully, like I said, after our November meeting, we might be in a better position. And I don't know how long it would take once everything's approved and the council approves it and everything. I really don't know, I mean, how long it would take to get it done. But I wouldn't think it would be that long.
I understand you're wanting to do a 6-inch for if a development comes along in the future, but there's no telling how long that's going to be. Because right next to us, the 200 plus acres that's to the left of us, that's all farmland.
Right.
And the only person that's wanting to build houses around there is the guy that built the house that we bought.
Well, I'm not
And-
saying just for your particular home,
Uh-huh.
but if we're gonna run a water line from where, at the end, I think the existing water line is right there by the Veterans Park, I think.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead and do the work with the anticipation that there's gonna be more growth out there. So we don't have to go back out there and dig the ground again. But again, we just have to kind of get through this meeting in November, and hopefully, we'll be able to talk to you guys before the holidays and see about what we can plan and do, because I think we've all actually spoken about it previously, and we all agree. We don't want to give up that section to the other water supplier that's just a little bit further out from us.
Right.
So we do want, I think the council's kind of agreed that we want to actually eventually run water out there. So I'm hoping maybe we can get it done next year, early.
But if you guys were also to do a 6-inch line, with us being the only house out there, you guys would have to flush that a lot, because more than likely just our house alone won't be able to keep up with the 6-inch line, which is why we were saying that the 2-inch would be the best, because again, there's no other houses out there to be able to run the water to.
And that's why I'm
sold
saying we would have to
towards
put a
ours.
fire hydrant out there as well. And, but again, that's all things we need to talk with our
about later.
engineers,
Okay,
because I don't really know a whole lot about this kind of stuff, but I know our engineer has looked at it. Hector has gone out there and looked at it and measured it, and just to kind of get an idea of what we're looking at.
Mhm.
So like I said, I mean, I'm hoping that, by the end of this year, we'll be in a better position where we can actually start running the water out to the end of that section that belongs to the city.
okay, so after that meeting that you have in a couple weeks, will you guys decide on to do the 2-inch?
Well, what
or
we'll
the
probably do,
6-inch,
depending
or-
on how the November meeting goes
Uh-huh.
with the Water Development Board, we might put it back on the agenda for December.
Okay,
So like that, the council, we can kind of have a discussion in an
Okay.
open forum like this.
right,
And then at that point, you guys will be in a, be welcome to come to the council meeting then as well.
okay, alrighty.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
guys
so
for
much. I
listening.
appreciate it.
And thank you, Saul, for getting us on the agenda.
Mayor, on her page, she wants to get water out there real quick, right?
Yes.
Her dad's willing to put in the line and do the work. Once y'all get the permit, run the 2-inch line, when y'all get ready to put the 6 or 8-inch pipe, all you do is do the work on top, re-dig the line that she's at, take that line out, and set it back in.
No, I know that it sounds that simple, but we've already talked to our engineer from Adura, And they've gone out there and they've made the recommendation that if we're going to run a line, just go ahead and run something that's going to help and maybe even attract new development out to that area. So, no, I understand.
Yeah, I understand the future development, but again, like you just stated, mine and my family's health is more important than what could be quote unquote built later on.
Right. No, and I completely
again,
understand what.
This 6-inch line was done, your workers would have more on top of their plate because again, our house wouldn't be able to keep up with the 6-inch line. It would have to be flushed multiple times throughout a month. Because again, a 6-inch line is made for more of a development and not just a single home.
Well, and again, I don't know a lot of that stuff because I'm not really, an engineer, but hopefully things will go well in November with this meeting, and we'll put this back on the agenda in December maybe, and we'll see where we are back then. But I think all of us here are in agreement that we'd like to run water out there for sure.
Okay.
But also, David, you have to think also, her dad, I don't think is willing to put the financing for y'all to have a development out there. He wants to do it just for her. So
Right.
is the city gonna be able to financially afford to do that later?
Well, again,
Right.
those are all things that we have to look at, going forward. So, I mean, we're definitely all interested in making this happen sooner than later. So, again, he's okay. Thank you, and Sal will stay in touch with you, and let you know if we're going to be bringing it back up in the December meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have, and yeah.
Just to know you about.
Yeah. It's if this doesn't work out, that's them.
Thank you so much.
Listening and hearing me out.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for, Chucky.
So we're going to move over to Roman numeral 2, discussion and action items to be considered. Item A, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the planning and zoning meeting on July 2nd. Also approve the regular meeting held August the 6th.
Take that one separately.
One by one?
Just that one, because I wasn't here on the 6th.
Okay, so do the first one.
All three, all of them said this is 6.
I wasn't here the 7th and the 25th.
Oh, never mind, there you go.
So
So one at a time.
one at a time, I guess. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the planning and zoning meeting on July the 2nd. Is there a motion to open? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Councilman Candela to approve the minutes of the planning and zoning meeting on July 2nd, and a second by Councilman Falcon. So we're going to open it up for discussion. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, we'll move on with a vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5. The next is the discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on August the 6th, 2024. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 6th, 2024.
Second? And I have a motion by Councilman Candela and second by Councilman Alvaro to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on August the 6th. I'll open it up for discussion. If there's no discussion, we'll move on to the vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Abstain.
place 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. We have 4 yes and 1 abstained. The next item is consider and take action to approve the minutes of the public hearing and regular meeting held on September the 3rd, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for the minutes of September 3rd.
I have a motion by Councilman Falcon, a second. Second by Councilman Dominguez. Open it up to discussion on any of those. So if there's no discussion, we'll move on with a vote. Place one,
Yes.
place two, place three,
Yes.
place four,
Yes.
place five. And we'll move on to the next, can discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting held on September 7, 2024. Do I have a motion
I'll make a motion for the workshop for September 7th.
and a second? I have a motion by Councilman Falcon, a second by Councilman Alvaro to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting held on September 7, 2024. Any discussion?
This is September 7th.
Yes.
Do you have?
It's in the clip.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with it.
So we have no discussion. We'll move on with the vote. Place one,
Yes.
place two, place three,
Yes.
place four,
Yes.
place five.
I abstain.
So motion carries 4 yes and 1 abstain. Councilman, place 5. Next one, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the special call meeting held on September 10th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes on September 10th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Councilman Candela to approve the minutes of the special call meeting held on September 10th, 2024, second by Councilman Huerta. I'll open it up for any discussion.
If they could correct my name, just correct my name.
Okay.
Yeah, the 10th.
Billy Joe.
Oh.
I know. I was gonna say.
Billy Joe.
So,
Billy Joe.
Somebody was looking at it. There was something in City Hall.
she just will always be in our hearts, if nothing else.
I bought her old house, y'all should have seen the things in.
Were there anything belonging to the city still in there?
I know Berman's won't pull for anything.
September 10th, they spelled Billy with an IE. So pending the correction on the spelling of Councilman Huerta's first name, we'll move on with the vote. Place one, place two, place three,
Yes.
place four,
Yes.
place five.
Yes.
So the motion carries with that correction. Finally, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the special call meeting held on September 25th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Falcon. Do I have a second? And a second by Councilman Dominguez. I'll open it up for any discussion. No discussion, we'll move on with the vote. Place one, place two, place three, place four, place five. Motion carried, 3 yes, and Councilman Huerta abstained, and Councilman Candela also abstained. We'll move on to item B, discuss, consider, and take action to allow the variance for a new deck to be built at 132nd Street. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we go ahead and allow the variance.
And a second?
I'll second it.
And a second by, motion by Councilman Huerta, and a second by Councilman Dominguez to allow and accept the variance for a new deck to be built at 132nd Street. I'll open it up for any discussion.
Did you want to get a letter?
Yes, I can get a letter, and my question would be, do we need to do kind of special permitting or anything specific for him, for the record? Issue special permit? Okay.
Yeah. And just make sure that we get the letter from the neighbor, allowing for the variance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want him to come back.
So if there's no more discussion, we'll move on with the vote. Place one,
Yes.
place two, place three,
Yes.
place four,
Yes.
place five.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously to allow the variance on the new deck to be built at 132nd Street. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Special permit, where do I get that?
Just come to City Hall.
Okay.
Just south.
I'll let you know when it's ready.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Item C, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a zone change from the residential district single-family R1 to residential district multifamily R2 for the property located at 500 Sellers.
Move the table.
So I have a motion to table from Councilman Falcon and a second by Councilman Huerta. I'll move on to any discussion. There's no discussion. We'll move on with the vote to table. Place one,
Yes.
place two, place three,
Yes.
place four,
Yes.
place five.
Yes.
So we will table. Just let us know when they're ready, so we can kind of get them on the next. Item C, discuss, consider, and take action to approve ordinance 473, changing the water and sewer base and volume rates in Exhibit 1 fee schedule. I think everyone has a copy of the ordinance. Killed a bunch of trees out here. Didn't we?
I make a motion to approve the ordinance number 473.
Motion by Councilman Falcon, second by Councilman Candela. We'll go ahead and move forward with any discussion. As soon as I can find this ordinance.
It's all the
It's after
pictures.
all those pictures.
After all the pictures.
After those. Right here.
Thank you, ma'am. So ordinance number 473 reads as follows, an ordinance changing the water and sewer base and volume rate contained in Exhibit 1. Do you have Exhibit 1 that you can put up there? Fee schedule of the Odem Code of Ordinances. Whereas the city of Odem operates a water and wastewater utility system to provide essential services to the customers of Odem. And whereas the previous pass-through increase on both water and sewer base and volume rates was October 2023. And whereas the city of Odem will increase the water base by $2.81 and volume rate by 8.1%, and the sewer base by $2.84 and the volume rate by 8.1%, and hereby stipulate that future increases charged by the San Patricio Municipal Water District shall be passed through to end customers, and whereas the city of Odem will repeal any prior ordinance as of October 1st, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Odem, Texas, that one, that the matter and facts recited in the preamble hereof are found and determined to be true and correct. Number two, the fees charged by the city for water services are hereby amended as indicated on the attached true and correct copy of the relevant portion of the presently codified Exhibit Number 1 fee schedule for the city of Odem. Number three, these rates will be effective with the October 2024 utilities billing, regardless of usage period, additions being indicated by underlining and deletions by interlining. Number four, ordinance 473 will repeal any prior ordinances for both water and sewer base and volume rates as of October 1st, 2024. Do we have any discussion?
When does SAPAC go up on our water? Is Santac gonna go up on our water?
Yeah, well, yeah, this was the
When
pass through
does it
is,
go into effect?
January,
In January?
right.
So, just a question. Don't yell at me. Can we start this in November?
It causes a huge, administrative
Give the
issue.
residents, at least a notice, you know.
Right.
You know, we have been talking about it, but
Right.
just to give them a, hey, heads up.
Right.
Even though they're not gonna pay this till the November bill, right?
Right, correct.
But if we started in November, then they will start paying it the December bill.
Well, no, whatever the billing happens, and they get, October, you get billed in November, so that's your first bill in November. And we had talked about, no,
It's the first billing in October.
the first billing in October.
Mhm.
So it's coming up.
Mhm.
I got a text message today.
Pardon?
I already got a text message for my bill in October.
When did the bills go, when did the bills go out on?
Today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So it'll be November.
so,
November's good in the budget.
so
Right,
it
yes.
won't be on this bill that just went out,
Maybe it'll be on the next.
November.
on the next bill.
On November.
So we just need to send out notices.
Well, since we're talking about doing a bulk mailing for the voter information, we can maybe tie that into,
Yeah,
if
I
you really
think
want
it'd
to
be-
do a rollout.
I think it'd be fair for the customer to
Well,
know.
it would be, like Rincon, my mom has Rincon out in the county, and every time they go up, they send a letter saying, you know, your next bill's gonna go up, gallons or administrative fees or whatever, but, yeah, they always forewarn you.
Okay.
So I think, thank you, Councilman. So if you can do that with that mail out, maybe we can just put it on that same.
Going up, is that, I guess what's happening?
Yes, sir.
There's no stopping it, we have to go up?
Yes, sir. The county went up. Well, actually, the city of Corpus Christi is where we get our money, our water from. So the city went up to the county. So the county passes that on to us as a city. So then,
I mean, the whole country's 35 trillion in debt. What does it matter?
well, in order for us to pay our water bill, you know, the cost has to be passed on. So,
35 trillion in debt. What does
yeah.
it matter?
Well, hopefully, we're never going to be in debt that high. So, so is there any more discussion? So we'll move on with a vote. Place 1, place 2, place 3, place 4,
Yes.
place 5. Motion carries. Item E. Discuss, consider, take action to approve Resolution 635, changing the monthly fees charged to users of solid waste service contained in Exhibit 1 fee schedule.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 635.
I have a motion by Councilman Candela. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Falcon. We'll open it up to discussion at this time. Let me just go through the resolution real quick. Resolution number 635. A resolution changing monthly fees charged to the users of solid waste services contained in Exhibit 1 fee schedule of the Odem Code of Ordinances. Whereas the City of Odem and BFI Waste Services of Texas LP, DBA Allied Waste Services of Corpus Christi and Republic Services of Corpus Christi entered into a contract in which the contractor has provided solid waste collection and disposal services for the city. And whereas the contract states the fees or compensation for both residential and commercial services will be adjusted at a fixed rate of 4% on the rate modification date in 2023 and annually thereafter, except as set forth in this section. And whereas Republic Services has submitted a statement reflecting a 4% increase on both residential and commercial services to become effective October 1st, 2024. And whereas the City of Odem will pass the 4% increase to its customers, and whereas all customers will see an increase of $1.20 plus tax per month. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Odem, Texas, that number 1, that the matter and facts recited in the preamble hereof are found and determined to be true and correct. 2, the fees charged by the city for solid waste services are hereby amended as indicated on the attached true and correct copy of the relevant portion of the presently codified Exhibit 1 fee schedule for the city of Odem. 3, these rates will be effective with the October 2024 utility billing regardless of usage period, additions being indicated by underlining and deletions by interlining. Okay, so I'll open up for discussion. Again, Republic has increased the rates to the city, so there's a city ordinance that, we're past those increases up to the customer. So that's what the resolution is about. If we have no discussion, then we'll move forward with vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2,
Yes.
place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5. Motion carries. We're going to move on to item F. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve ordinance 474, amending the city fee schedule. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 474.
I have a motion by Councilman Candela, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Falcon.
Is there sleep over there?
The ordinance 474 reads as follows: an ordinance amending ordinance number 467 of the city of Odem, Texas, by amending section 3 relating to the fees charged for city fee schedules and providing for the following findings of fact: repealer, severability, proper notice, and hearing. All other provisions for ordinance 455 shall remain in effect. Whereas the city staff has made recommendations for the adjustment of the fees charged as set forth in the attached Exhibit 1, which are contained within Section 3 of Ordinance Number 455. And whereas this proposed amendment does not relate to matters of zoning regulations nor to matters involving zoning district boundaries, but rather is a fiscal issue for the City Council to address. And whereas pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 51.001, the city of Odem, Texas has general authority to adopt an ordinance that is for the good government peace of order of the city and is necessary or proper for carrying out a power granted by law to the city. And whereas the city council finds that it is necessary and proper for the good government, peace, and order of the city of Odem, Texas, to adopt this ordinance. And whereas the city council finds that the cost and fees provided for in this ordinance reflect the cost of issuing permits and providing the regulated service. Therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Odem that Article 1, enactment of amendments pursuant to section 51.001 and 51.012 of the Texas Local Government Code, the City Council of the City of Odem, Texas hereby enacts and adopts this amendment ordinance number 474, amending the City of Odem fee schedule as it set forth in Amendment Exhibit 1, attached hereto and incorporated herein. I'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. The council met at a workshop this weekend. It's been a while since they had actually reviewed fees. And for example, fees for installing a water meter, water taps, sewer taps. It's been a while since those fees had been addressed. So they met this weekend and recommended some changes to the fees. That's what this ordinance is addressing, that we will move forward and change some of the fees that have been that were recommended over the weekend. Do you have any discussion? If no discussion, we'll move on with a vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
I was gonna say discussion real quick.
Okay.
We did mention that some of these, we're gonna go change, correct? Some of these, we're gonna come revisit.
There was just
Remember, we're gonna revisit some of these.
there were just a couple, but they weren't
Yeah.
anything that going to affect the residents
Yeah,
immediately.
so we are gonna revisit some.
Right.
Some,
Right.
some, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Okay. So,
Mayor, what fees are y'all gonna change?
Yes.
place 5.
Yes.
So motion carries. I think, is that the fee schedule up there?
This is the fee schedule.
If you would like, you can come into City Hall and just bring a little note that you'd like a copy, that you're requesting a copy of the fee schedule, and we can give it to you so you can have on hand. You can see.
We can publish it on the website
Yeah,
as well.
it'll be on the website, but it may not be on the website tomorrow. You know, we turn things into our webmaster, and sometimes it takes a couple of days to get it on there. So,
But you can also email me, and I can email you all.
yeah, if you have an
Also,
email
quickest way
address.
to get to me is email, and I can just tack it on and send it to you.
A lot of it is pertaining to new construction.
Right. Water taps and sewer taps and new construction and some formatting issues and, but nothing major other than the sewer basin.
We sat on Saturday and Sal did a good job and Jesse by getting other cities what they charge, and we were way under. We hadn't gone up in years and years. It was,
Well, I guess the way that we had discussed it previously, a water tap in Portland, the work that's required for a water tap in Portland or a sewer tap is no different than what's required here in Odem. The guys still have to dig down sewer taps. Sometimes those sewer pipes are 10, 12 feet underground. So it takes, not only does it take digging down, but it also requires shoring. And so there's a lot of work that goes to it, and we hadn't really visited these fees in several years, and that's what they got together and over the weekend for the workshop. But again, if anybody wants a copy of it, feel free to either email and the city administrator. Yes, sir.
No, he had to sit there the whole thing.
He
He had to sit there.
So let's go. This is really important right here. The homecoming parade, as you guys know. I was actually looking at some pictures that my mom has, like a stack of photo albums about this high. And she had pictures of homecoming when we were in school and riding actually downtown through Voss. They would block off the road and actually go by. You can see E.H. Green in the background. You can see Reed's, which was Thornton's in the background. It was. I was trying to see if I recognized anybody, but it's a little blurry. Those old cameras weren't very good. But it was just. I just sat and laughed at some of the things that our principal getting his head shaved, and it was a fun time. So this is important. So we're going to go ahead and move item K up. Discuss, consider, and approve the parade permit for the Odem Edroy ISD homecoming parade scheduled for Thursday, October the 31st. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the parade permit for the Odem Edroy ISD homecoming parade.
Do I have a second? I have a motion by Councilman Candela, second by Councilman Huerta to approve the permit for the Odem Edroy ISD homecoming parade scheduled for Thursday, October 31st. Do you have? Okay. So same route. You can come up here and if you want to speak about the parade schedule times. When are we starting? When can we line up?
I think it's the same as last year, so it was everything stays the same like the last few years. So
Where's going to be the setup? Like what staging area? Will that be at the?
I think it's in the same spot where I'm trying to think.
Okay, so right there where the football field parking. Okay. And it'll come.
I think it's because we're going to do the burning with the O. That's the very last thing that we do. So I think it's more off to the side of the stadium.
Okay.
And then they'll have the fire department with the fire trucks just to make sure that seniors come on and to the burning of the O that everything is safe. So I think it's a little, I'm trying to remember, the route, and then we had the burning of the O, like that was the very last thing.
Right.
DJ was there to make sure and announce the football team and announce.
So the Bernie and O will be in the same location by the tennis courts?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to remember, of course, I was brand new to Odem like last year, so.
Last year it was by the tennis court.
The tennis courts.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay,
thought.
it's something about construction that it might not be.
Oh, that might, yeah, that might affect it.
I don't think that says anything on there, right?
Will they post something on the
Okay.
website?
Yes, ma'am. Usually our web person will, once Mrs. Carr or Ms. Schulze, our superintendents, once they have more information available, they'll usually give it to our web person to put on the district website. And then what we will usually do for more information is I'll usually post on Parent Square because I'm usually the main person on there for the high school campus, and then the rest of the principals, like Ms. Seal and Dr. Y, they'll post it on the smaller campuses, and then Ms. Garcia for the middle school. So we'll post it out, and then each, I think, principal will also post on their website as well. So we have a pretty good communication with getting newsletters and information out there. So once we have more detailed specifics, like if we have to make any adjustments, we'll put that out to the public.
Okay. Well, as long as there are no adjustments to the route, I mean, anything else is really doesn't really.
I don't think the route really changed because
Right.
even with the construction, I think we're still being clear. We're going roughly the same route, so
Okay.
it should still be okay.
Perfect. All right. So we don't have any more discussion.
So can you let the county know in case they can help us out?
Oh, yeah.
Help the officer, share something? Yeah.
And just get with the fire chief also about the fire trucks, be able. For some of y'all that may not know, we have a 1942 fire truck in one of our buildings, maintenance buildings. And that's kind of a goal that hopefully we can restore it, so we can use it for these types of events. It's a beautiful old piece of equipment. Actually had some people want to buy it. I'm like, no, I think we want to see if we can find some way to restore it later on down the road, because it's just a beautiful old truck. And hopefully we'll be able to use that in the future as well. So we don't have any more discussion. We'll move on with the vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5.
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you all so much, and we'll coordinate with the sheriff's department and of course with our fire department and our maintenance team to make sure that we can get the barricades out and block the roads and everything for you.
Mayor, appreciate your time. Council, appreciate your time. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
What was your name again?
Greg Rousseau. I'm the
Greg.
assistant principal at Odem High School.
Greg.
So this
Greg.
is my second year at that campus. So this is my 5th district and second year on this campus, and by far my favorite. The kids that we have are just they're a different bunch. They're amazing. I can't say enough about them. Our kids they're wonderful. So I just want to let y'all know that we have a good group, especially our freshman class that just came in. So it's a fun little town, and the small town charm that everyone talks about. It truly is a wonderful place here. So I just
Well,
wanna let you
great.
guys-
Well, welcome. We thank you. Go Owls. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So item G, discuss, consider, and take action to accept the audited annual financial report for year ending September 30th, 2021, as presented by Adrian Webb, our CPA.
Make a motion to approve the audit annual financial report for the year ending in September 30,
30th.
2021.
I have a motion by Councilman Falcone. Do I have a second? And second by Councilman Condella. And we'll open it up for any discussion.
Good job.
Come on up and I'd see if anybody has any questions. This was a very interesting reading. This is not mine. Where's mine? I have notes on mine, but
So I have a question on the recommendations, because I guess there were some recommendations that y'all, I guess, put on the paperwork, the recommendations, and then Sal I guess, was that your response or?
Well, yeah, our response, we responded to that, to the recommendations.
So on one of them, it talks about, staffing and training on, the finance side of it. Is that the financial person that you were putting in place?
This is 21, Isaac. Back in-
Yeah,
Oh,
but-
yeah.
right, but,
Can you,
but I guess this is recommendations going forward, right?
right.
I
So-
guess that's why
just-
at the bottom it says, the city has created and implemented policies and procedures during 24.
Right.
So like, there is recommendations that still need to be improved upon, and there does need to be some training and training and stuff like that. But staff is working towards those. And so this is for 2021, so I can only kind of report on 2021 during the recommendations and criteria. So on the auditor's response, they kind of address it for 24.
Okay, and then that's part of your plan with the financial.
Right,
Position. I
right,
guess.
to improve on these sort of shortcomings, so to
So,
speak.
I mean, Mr. Webb, if you want to just go ahead and, I mean, let us know what you guys worked on, what you found, I mean.
Yes, overall, the opinion is a qualified opinion with 3 material findings. And a qualified opinion means that, I'll just kind of read it. Management has not performed a thorough and complete inventory of fixed assets, including infrastructure, nor developed a complete and accurate depreciation expense calculation. And this just means we couldn't assure that all the fixed assets above 5,000 in the city were accurate from the list we provided. Doesn't mean anything bad occurred, any fraud occurred, stuff like that. We just can't verify it. So the city needs to, and we've discussed with Sal, and he's been reaching out to vendors that can perform that, is to do a complete inventory listing from the city. And it is very common in cities the size of this, and then ones that haven't done an audit in such a long period. It is pretty common. The next page I'll go to, and I guess since the financials are for 21, I don't know if y'all want to go over those, any of those numbers, or do y'all want to go directly to the findings?
Let's go to the findings. This is for this is for fiscal year 2020, which ended in 2021, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, and just also, I don't really want to go over the financials because it's such a long period of time.
yeah,
The
no.
numbers don't jive with now. The findings will be in the back.
Yeah.
Do you have a page number?
They're wrong because his are wrong and his is the packet he gave us the first time.
Oh, they're
The
different.
pages numbers changed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
we had some required supplemental information. That wasn't in the first one. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Page 54 in the back.
Okay, what's the schedule of findings and responses?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So finding number 1, which states 2021-01, controls over financial information. And this is just saying that before cities was that figure in meetings like the state is a complete, the city's in a complete audit for the state, and it's outside of those 180 days. 24, so it's just way over the 180 mark. And then a lot of this has to do with, which is my finding number 2, which says approving internal controls over financial reporting. Overall, the city's accounting during this period of time was very vacant, not very. But so far, so the bank reconciliations were going on time, there's no capital assets reconciliation, so like that you all have to hire an outside consultant to kind of put everything together. And that can improve the internal controls, but it was an outside consultant, not through the city. And what we want is the city to improve those controls and be able to handle it themselves, like getting the proper staff. Something and stuff Saul had talked about. But during this period of time in the audit, there was no real way to substantiate everything that was provided to us.
And these are the recommendations that where you're talking about assign additional qualified accounting personnel to help with the process.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was my question to Sal, if that was a
Mhm.
financial position that you were putting in the city to help with this situation.
Right.
Or prevent us from being back in that situation.
Right. Yeah, we don't, staffing and training were just the main issue. Is
Can you
what,
go
is,
over each one of these for us? The recommendations that you have here?
Recommendation number one, and as we stated before, we want the finance department to increase the amount of experienced finance staff to help the closing of year-end and appropriation of basic financial statements. And some of these things, it's just from accounting entries. Some people can enter bank recs, and some people can enter the data, but they don't really understand them. So when you have somebody that actually understands it and a problem does occur, like they can identify it right away instead of 3 or 4 months after the fact. So the reason we want qualified staff, and they are getting them and they are training them. So I'm just speaking as of 2021. Is you want those so we don't take 2 to 3 years to perform an audit or like find any issues that were related to the financial statements. And then so I think and on these also it's when we like the staff presents financial statements, the board should ask more questions on these, and that way they can understand it, staff can understand what everyone's looking for. I think that's very important as a whole for the city.
So when you say hold periodic meetings to monitor the progress of assignments and responsibility, are you talking about like meetings with the general staff? Or are you talking about both like council and staff?
I think it'd be with staff, and then they present to councils, this is what the job description is, what we're identifying that we want to take care of, and this is how we're addressing it. And then if y'all have any questions saying, oh, but what about this area, what about that area, did we fix this area?
Okay.
It'd be more of a monitoring on that side. So
Okay.
through the staff first and then through government.
Okay, perfect. And then on 2021-002, it says improve internal controls over financial reporting. And it's in parentheses, says material weaknesses. Can you kind of do?
This kind of goes hand in hand with number one. So if you have a finding on, for a delay, you're also probably going to have a finding on internal controls. So they kind of go hand in hand. So the recommendation is pretty much piggybacking on the first finding.
And you said something further, a little further down, about halfway down, about conditions, bank reconciliations. Can you kind of explain what?
Yes, the bank reconciliations weren't reconciled at all for these periods, so Raul had to go back and kind of reconcile all these areas for the city, and then he put it together, and that kind of alleviated that. But still, the city, and Sal's working on that right now, and the staff, is to go back and reconcile all those periods up to 2024. And it's hard to do stuff from 2021 all the way through now. So she's got her duty doing, so she's doing as best as she can.
So do you do that monthly or do you do it quarterly or how?
I mean, it should be done at least 90 days, because the problem is there's not a real system in place to find outstanding checks. So that's a system we're working on, and unfortunately, Gabby is right now is our sole person doing this sort of work. We're trying to get other staff to sort of cross train, but we're still just spread pretty thin. So we're gonna have to look at some adjustments as far as that if we can't get a finance person in place, I may need to come back to council and just at least get another clerk to do some AP work also. But it's a lot of catching up to do, and then it's work today doesn't stop we still have to clean up what's been, to catch up, and then we have everything else coming at us this way. So we're doing the best we can.
So I think Sal and I spoke during late last week or early this week, or Monday, yes, about trying to close out just this fiscal year. And I mean, there are still checks that are outstanding that haven't been processed yet. And so I asked him to start making phone calls or have, why are some of these businesses still haven't processed payments? Because we need to close out the fiscal year, or start closing out the fiscal year. So I don't know how we can resolve that some of these vendors are holding on to checks for, several weeks and that haven't been processed. And it's hard when it's towards the end of the year.
And I was gonna say, like, I know y'all working towards like trying to get to the 90 days, but it is good to try to get it within 14 days or at least before a board meeting, because then if he comes and presents and say we have 100,000 cash, and then the outstanding checks equal 50,000, then you really only have $50,000 in cash.
Right.
So that's why, it's like as you're kind of saying, like the vendors, so the closer you get to that actual statement date of the reconciliation, the better aware the board is of how many checks are going to go through, so you know your accurate cash balance. Right?
So we would need to really look at maybe policies, and I think that we have a draft of a financial policy that we had submitted in. So we might have to look at that to try to get policies in place so we're able to address, these kinds of things. So we're not kind of sitting. So especially here at the end of the year, it's kind of difficult to close your books when you still have some outstanding stuff out there. So
Do they have like, some cities have like, you gotta cash it within 60 days, if not, check.
Well, it's usually a bank policy.
Do we have that?
Because I know it's 6 months most banks go void.
Yeah.
Yeah, commercial code. 180 days, it's stale.
Banks will still accept it sometimes, but they're not supposed to.
Do we have that policy? After 180 days, you don't catch it, you're.
I don't think we have a policy for it. No, but I think it's in that draft that we put together. There's another section right under that. It says charges for services, and it said the city's operations and user charges in the amount of approximately $600,000. Accordingly, the city should have various safeguard protocols and other internal controls to ensure a full accountability of the financial activities. Can you just kind of, and it's page 55, still under 2021-02, charges for services.
We really couldn't get a lot of backup information for these charges. We had financial statements, we had records, we had previous financial records. So it's more of a running tally of old information with new activity, and that's the ending balance. But there was no way to kind of say, this is 100%, or I would say this is just, I can say with a certainty, I think it's accurate. It's more like, this is what the beginning was, this was the activity, this is the.
Okay, so that's kind of what I just wanted you to kind of explain, that
More of a documentation.
Right, and I think that's why I think Hernandez took so long, because they were having difficulty finding documentation to coincide with some of these major expenses.
Yes, and I think as we get closer to, like, each year should get closer, and we should have better documentation. It's just that, in the prior years wasn't maintained as well. So I think once we get closer to 23, 24, those will start becoming And then for finding number 3, some of the payroll weren't agreeing to the time clocks for the amounts that were paid out. So you had vacation time that was included as overtime, you had holiday pay that was included as overtime. And you had some time sheets that didn't match to the hours. And it wasn't all the time, like most of them did match, but if there's even one payroll that doesn't match, then it's a material finding. Because it's a very, very sensitive sensitive area.
Okay.
And also related to the payroll, during this time, there was the Operation Lone Star grant.
Yeah.
That was audited by the GAO, and that area of payroll has been closed and taken care of.
Okay. Your recommendations on number 3, payroll.
I just, yeah, and he's already put in the new time clocks and stuff like that, right?
We're working on that, but I have educated staff on how payroll is supposed to work, how time is supposed to work, when pay periods end, when overtime applies, when it doesn't apply, when you have holidays, so I feel as if, and I've got a pretty good eye on it. Gabby runs the payroll. I check it out. So.
I think that new system you're talking was about will
Right. Yes.
complete this.
Yes. Yeah. The new system will definitely take care of a lot of this, a lot of these issues. Right.
I do want to point out that Sal was already well aware of this when I brought it up to him. So he was already doing this stuff before I mentioned
Does anybody have any more questions on this report? I know it's a lot of
Thank you
reading.
for doing this. It's like-
Yeah, it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
But
One down and how many go?
Thank you.
We're gonna do 2 years in the next round.
right. So our goal for this following coming year is to actually do the 2021, 22 and 22, 23.
That'd be good.
So we can get at least all we'll have is 2024. Obviously, if we can get it fast enough, we can start working on 2024 on time.
We were talking a little bit about that today when he came to visit. So I mean, there's possibilities, but it's about manpower right now. So we're gonna just kind of keep in touch, and I must say that with working with Mr. Webb, has been very easy. He's not only taken the time to let us know what he needs, he's actually physically brought his team into the office where we could sit down, and he also allows our staff to sit with him to learn. In fact, like today, we had a little chat with Gabby also, and we some better practices, stuff like that. So he's been more than generous with his time. So thank you, Mr. Webb.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we don't have any other questions, we are item G. We had a motion to accept the audited annual financial report for the year ending September 30th, 2021. We're going to go ahead and move on with the vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5.
Yes.
So motion to accept the audited annual report was unanimous. We'll move on to H, discuss, consider, and take action to amend and extend the contract for S. Paul Bain to a month-to-month basis to continue to assist in the continuity of operations and implementation of the 2024-2025 budget, as well as assist in the financial aspect of the city meter replacement program. Have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Falcone, second. Second by Councilman Candela. I'm sorry? Okay. Consulting. Okay. So I'll move on to discussion. Last year when Mr. Bain helped us with our budget, his contract ran out with the city, and he wasn't available to not only close out the previous fiscal year, to assist in closing out the previous fiscal year, but also to implement the fiscal year that we had approved. So I think the city administrator is asking to maybe extend Mr. Bain's contract with the city to help not only with closing out this last fiscal year, but also starting our new, I mean, I don't know the term, but putting the new budget in place, and also to kind of assist on getting this meter project going. So, does anybody have any questions or any discussion?
What is bond interior and issuance of such? What is that, Mr. Baines?
There was consideration of trying to issue a bond last year to cover your cash shortage before it was quite known that you didn't have a way of financing anything. The fact that you've been able to find some financing for the first phase of the meter project is incredible. Tonight's acceptance of the 21 audit gets you closer, but you have to be even closer. Right now, you're paying 7 3/8% for tax exempt bond money that has a lien against your ad valorem roll. You can't go issue another debt right now until things get straightened out. I think the meter project has brought a lot of attention to, number one, the city's needs to be moving forward as to its infrastructure, but also as to its financial stability. And in fact, subsequent discussions with GovCap have indicated that come January, if we make the kind of progress we hope to make with regards to 22 and 23, that there might be a reduction in the rates available for phase 2. If not, I'm considering making a loan myself to the city because it's such a high rate.
Well, I can say that today, was it today? Yes, today. I actually received a call from our representative Lozano's office, and they wanted to just let us know that they've heard that we've turned things around. They were surprised. They said we haven't heard anything about Odem. And I'm not going to mention any cities, but they did say that there were some cities within our area that they have been hearing a lot about. But they thought they would reach out to us. His office said that they felt like to reach out to us, and I told them, well, perfect, because we're having a city council meeting tonight, and I can share this conversation with them, that they hadn't heard anything from any of the state agencies or from anyone regarding the Odem's financial situation, and that they've heard that we have managed to kind of turn a corner, I guess, and that they were very, they had a lot of positive things to say about what we've managed to do in 1 year. So, right. And they're actually, the representative's office said that they wanted to maybe start to work with the city about, there are some grants for building like apartment complexes or something like that. He mentioned to me what they were, but I don't have my notes with me. He said, so we really want to start helping the city of Odem. It looks like you guys have done a great job over the next year, and we want to see if we can work with y'all and maybe helping kind of build maybe some more housing and some more maybe apartments and stuff in the community. So I spent about 15 minutes talking to him, and there was nothing but positive things. So we've done a great job.
Okay.
Is there any way that we can go into executive session?
For sure, we can.
Talk to our city administrator.
I would like to do it as well.
Sure. So we can go into
Yeah, because it
executive
is
session.
there's, I guess it's personnel.
Yeah, it is
issues.
personnel.
Yes.
The only
Happy.
thing, Mayor, is going to change the dates to October 1st, and it'll be month to month.
Epi, is this, we can go into executive session to discuss?
Last time.
Right. So let's just go ahead
We're
and,
not gonna talk about you. I want to talk to him.
okay. So let's go ahead and go into executive session here. It is 8:49. Okay.
Hey, me too, candy in the back.
Candy in the front.